Have you started already?
Yeah.
Oh, great. You got this amazingly important conversation about root beer on...
Yeah. You never know what kind of gold we'll discuss.
And never, but it's always worth the 10-second opening.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Buyer's Remorse with Darren and Justin.
Hello and welcome to Buyer's Remorse. I'm Justin.
I'm Darren.
On Buyer's Remorse, we find games that are untouched or unplayed in each other's libraries and force that person to play them for 60 minutes to see if it is a wonderful buyer's confirmation or the dreaded buyer's remorse. What game did I have you play for this one?
I hate this game.
Yeah, but what game was it?
I hate this game.
To be clear, that is the name of the game, and this is another one where I'm just surprised that you have this in your library.
Yeah, I hate this game. Let's see if I do.
Yeah.
I thought you were being kind to me when you gave me this one to play. Actually,
does it have good ratings?
No. No, it does actually. I think it's mostly positive. It's by a developer called Pixel Error. It was released in 2019. It costs $2, but it went for $1 in the last sale. How long to beat has it? Between 2.5 to 4.5 hours. So that smashes my dollar to hour ratio. I
was thinking that this would be a game that was purposefully annoying.
Yeah.
And that could go either way for you. And I think I was leaning towards hoping that it would be really irritating, but now I'm a bit worried because you're smiling that it wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. Yeah, I was going to say, so basically that it is good value for money, but the if and the big if is if you can handle these kinds of games, because it is. It's like you said, it's annoying on purpose. Do you remember ages ago there was the website called Addicting Games? Yeah. Still going. I looked up the other night after playing this. It's a lot of Flash games, right? Yeah. I think I played some tower defense on those. Lots of tower defense on those. Yeah, me too. But there was this series, and it was called The Impossible Quiz. Did you ever play that? No. Super, super annoying game. Go and give it a shot. It's free. But see how many rounds you can go. It's really fucking annoying, man. It's just a quiz? It's a quiz with like multiple choice. And it'll be like, click on the answer. And then you'll have like apple, banana, carrot, and, fish. And then you'll click A, wrong. And you lose lives every time. And every time you lose all your lives, you got to start from the beginning again. And there's like, and every time you lose a life, every time you lose all of your lives, you've got to start from the beginning again and go through them all again. And so, but it has this thing where so you click on A, it's wrong. You click on B, it's wrong. You click on C, it's wrong. You click on D, it's wrong. And you're like, oh, I've got to click on the answer that's in the text message box. So you click on that and you get to the next one. It's a lot of these thinking out of the box puzzle solving kind of things. But it's super annoying because it's got these screams and gunshots and you have to restart from the very start every time you lose all 3 lives. But it is a good time. I actually can't believe that Addicting Games still exists. I used that like 15 years ago. I went there just to go back and play a little bit of the Impossible Quiz just to remind me of how frustrating it was. And then I remembered all the other great games that are on there. They've still got them. Age of War, which is one we've talked about before, or at least I have. The one where you fight as cavemen through armor, like knights in armor up to like kind of future tech soldiers. Oh, I think on a previous episode we talked about Age of Empires, which I think was what I was confusing with what you're talking about. Right. There. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, Age of War. And another one that I saw that looks like they've still been developing and putting out new stuff. There's a series called Sift Heads, and I love Sift Heads. It's like, if you've not played it before, you're in for a treat if you want to play like a Stickman version of kind of Hitman mixed with Max Payne. Have you ever played the Sift Heads series? No, I've not. Much fun. But anyway, I hate this game. I fucking love this game. It's 100 levels of pure frustration centered around getting your guy to an exit. Sometimes the door is open, sometimes it's locked. And basically, there are puzzles that you solve along the way.
It starts out with a tutorial, which is basically, it's kind of teaching you, the tutorial is teaching you that you can, like, take advantage of the system. Kind of like Pony Island, I guess, or the Hex, if we ever get to talk about that. But it's got it's got a little bit of Pony Island vibe to it. It's not just an annoying game that the controls are really janky and horrible to use, which they are. The jumping in this game is ridiculously hard. It's in some points. You've got to be really precise. There's 3 modes to play. There's normal. I think the next one was called Pro or Super. And then the last one is called Secret. And usually for these kinds of games, if I duck out of the main one and then I go in to play the other modes, it's usually because I'm looking at the clock and I'm bored. So unfortunately, I didn't get to try any of the other modes because I had a lot of fun playing the first. I think I got to level 58 in an hour.
Okay. Do they get harder as they go?
Yeah, they get really, really hard.
Like, I'm imagining that the first level was super easy.
Yeah, the first level was basically get to the exit. The second level was, you can actually find hidden things, like jump into the wall, see what happens. You jump into the wall and you actually stick on it. Then you can get to reach this platform that you need to make the jump. So basically, it's all the same room. It's a box. The door's on the right. You start on the left. And sometimes there's a puzzle in the room that you have to solve. Sometimes there's a gap in the room that you need to, like, kind of platform to get across. Yeah, they just get weird. They get really weird.
I see you've put down specific rooms here.
Yeah. I made a list of some of the ones that I thought were interesting. Level 8 was my first frustration one, and I was like, oh shit, is this what I'm in for? It's like, if this is the kind of game it is, Justin's done well, and I'm going to be stuck in this room for an hour, which was what I was dreading. It's called Missiles, or actually they've spelled it MISSLES, so it's Missless. I don't know if that's intentional. It could be Missless, maybe, like don't get hit by the missiles. But yeah, basically bombs are just carpet bombs that are falling out of the sky, and you've got to get from left to right, and I died a lot.
Do you think you would have stopped if you weren't playing for the podcast?
Maybe. Yeah, maybe. It would definitely depend on my situation, my mood at the time, but yeah, it was hard, but eventually I just brute forced it, man. There was no skill involved. It was just luck, pure luck. There's a fair few levels where I was just blindfolded and just like hitting space and just hoping I made a jump. 13 was where things started to get cool though. So it's like by level 13, the level is called 2.5D, and you're looking at it from here, like as you always have been, but there's no door on the screen. And so you're like, oh, well, what do? You can jump, but you just fall into a chasm. There is a block that you can almost reach, but I couldn't jump on it. It's not until you actually move the mouse, and then you can actually pan the camera. And so as you pan the camera, the distance shortens. And so it becomes this, like when you played Pandemonium, it's like that kind of 2.5D.
Okay.
And so you can then readjust the level from the best point of view where you can make that jump. And then all of a sudden now you can see the door kind of thing, and then now you can make it. So I was like, oh, that's very clever. Nice. I think if it keeps going this way, then I'm in business. But then I got to level 18.
Not much later.
And level 18 is one of those, I hate these things where it's like, I know every kid, well, when I was a kid, I really wanted Operation, but my parents never bought it for me because it was really expensive, in the UK at least. Some of my friends had it, and I used to love playing with it, but I was really bad at it.
That's the point of the game.
Yeah, well, this is basically Operation. And so it moves from being a 2D scroller to a map where you just got your character's head, who I think is just a skeleton who wears a black t-shirt and smokes cigarettes in the pause menu. I don't know what's going on. But you just got his head, and you got to put the mouse on his head, and you just got to drag him through this maze. And if you touch the walls, you die. If you touch the moving blocks, you die. If you touch this thing, you die. There's just a lot of things to touch, and the hitboxes are a bit, let's just say, unkind.
Well, I think that's fitting in. I hate this game.
Because there's bits where I was like, I don't even think I was near, but it's almost like a magnet was like, no, brink, you're dead. I don't think I was near that. Yeah, but then my head just suddenly jumps across and hits the wall dead. Then things started to get a bit more Pony Island. And this is where I was like, yeah. I was maybe half an hour in. I'm like, yeah, this is good. This is good stuff. 20. You need to drag your mouse. So there's a bunch of blocks in your way. You cannot jump to the exit. And it says, one good thing about the game is it's got a hint system. Mm-hmm. And so if you're stuck for long enough or if you die enough times or something like that, a little question mark will pop up next to the pause menu or something like that, or next to the restart button. And it'll give you a hint. Sometimes the hints are all right. Sometimes they're not. They're often very vague. But for this one, it was something like click and drag. And so I found out that I could actually highlight the boxes much like you could highlight things on your desktop. And then I was like, okay, I'll just hit delete. And then you press delete and all the boxes disappear.
That sounds great.
And so this was the start of the journey, because it went real meta in a way. It gets even more than that in a second. But then there is a bit of a mix. It does go back and forth. The next level was you eat a mushroom and everything goes weird and psychedelic and it's all wobbly and stuff. And then the blocks that you're supposed to jump onto, it was already hard enough to get across with the screen melting. But the blocks that you're supposed to jump on, they blink in and out of existence. And so, again, died a lot of times here. Just lucked into a lucky jump to get across. Level 22, I still don't really understand what I did to get past it. It was something you had to hold down 2 buttons, but if you hold them down, you kind of walk off the screen. I really got no idea. I think I just got through it by chance. 23, level 23 it just has a big hole that you cannot jump across, and all it has is ihatethisgame.net / give me the password. And so you've got to go to the website, it's got the password, and then you click on these boxes and then you punch in this 8-digit password, the door opens, and then you can jump across. Like, yeah, really silly. That's kind of, what's the guy? Superland, when we talked about that. Not prawn kind of style stuff. I went another 10 levels. I've just written down Crazy Bonkers Bananas 33. Oh, yeah. This one was really crazy. I was stuck here for a long time. So it says copy my favorite phrase. And so I was like I don't know what I was trying to do for the first time because I didn't know what to do. And then eventually the little question mark comes up and it says IHTG. So it's like, I hate this game. Okay, so I type in IHT, but when you press T is the restart button. And so that's already got a function. So I'm like scratching my head going...
Wait, did it restart it then?
Yeah. Oh, no. It just restarts that level, right?
Right, but what I'm saying is that would be the perfect thing to put in a game that's supposed to be irritating is, here's a possible password, but every time you type in the letter, it's going to restart the level. And
I think, I'm honestly, they did it on purpose. Because otherwise you'd be typing it in and you'd be like, oh, why is it not working? So I knew something was wrong because I can't even type in I hate. Because as soon as you get to T again, it's like, no, I can't put any T's in. What am I talking about? But that was the only hint. So I was stuck for ages and ages. And then I had a brainwave and that was like, nah, it can't be this. It can't be this.
Let me just wild guess. Did you try typing it without the T's?
No, it's much weirder than that. So, and I thought this thinking, right, this is really either top tier like stuff. If this doesn't work, then I've gone too far. I opened a Word document and I typed in, I hate this game. And then I highlighted it and then I right clicked it and I went back to the game and the door was open.
That's amazing.
So I don't know how it knew that I copied his favorite phrase, but it
would be in the clipboard. So maybe there's some way that it could read into your clipboard, but that's
so
pretty
weird.
impressive.
It was weird, yeah. And then bang, the very next level is, it's got pictures of, it's called moon phases and it's got 3 pictures of the moon. They're all in different phases. And then it's got 3 numbers to put. It only goes up to 8. There are 8 phases of the moon. I didn't know that at the time because I waited until the hint popped up and it's like, go and Google moon phases. I was like, oh shit, okay. So I went there and it's like, oh, this is phase 2, this is phase 7, and this is phase 6. Blam, the door opens up. And then we got to level 40. And 40 was my greatest weakness.
Math?
Well, there's definitely some maths in this game, but it was like my greatest weakness for something that I love in a game, and we've talked about this so many times that I will just sit there for an hour and watch something. Television in games. There was a TV in this game, and so I had to physically stop myself from just watching it for the rest of the playthrough. Like, I could have just sat there for an hour.
What was it showing?
Lots of different things. So there's 100 levels of the game. I'm guessing that the levels are somehow connected to the channels are somehow connected to some of the levels of the game, but there's a lot of weird stuff going on. So channel 13 is just a picture of the number 13 with some spooky music. There's some really weird things going on. There's like a weird diagonally side-scrolling, never-ending cat face that comes. But I would have watched it all just to see if there was Easter eggs. I'm sure there are on some of the channels. Honestly, I'd probably end up watching static for 20 minutes just to see if something popped out.
Do you know if this game, I don't know if you checked when you left, is this a type of game where you can jump to a level? Could you go back directly to this level?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I can go back. Yeah, in the menu there's a cursor, and you just zip through 10 levels at a time. Blocks of 10. So I just click up to level 40 and go.
So you could go back and just...
I could, and I probably will, man. But yeah, there's 100 levels, lots of Easter eggs. One of them was... I don't know what they were hinting at with this. It was like, there was 2 skeletons here, but we had to take them down for copyright reasons. I've got no idea what they're thinking about, what that's supposed to be. Like 2 skeletons. I don't know.
They could have been from like a classic Disney cartoon or something.
Maybe. Yeah, something Disney or maybe another game. I've really got no idea. Maybe Grim Fandango, who knows? I don't think Tim Schafer would come after these guys, though. One of them was a chiptune version of Stranger Things that just plays.
Very nice.
No visuals, just the music. And you have to listen to it for a little bit like, is that? Yeah, it is. So that was great. That level was brilliant. And it was, I went all the way to the end, all 100 channels to check them. And then the solution is actually just go, because you're on level 40. It shows you a picture of level 41. You just go to level 41, switch off the television, and blam, you're in level 41 now. So I'll just try, I just kind of skip through the rest of it. There's a high noon gun draw, cowboy style, where you've got to just kill the other cowboy. There's binary code. There is parsing. There is some kind of computer XOR switchboard that you have to operate. There's there's this one. There's a Dance Revolution minigame. This game has it all, and I only got to level 58, and I think this was level 57. And that's one thing I didn't even talk about, the music. I got ahead of myself when I was writing this. The music is all 8-bit chiptune, and it's really, really, really good. It reminds me so much of like the 80s, but it's taken all those like Spectrum and Commodore kind of style tunes and brought them into 21st century. You know, they've beefed them up a bit. It's really good. And every time you exit the game and come back, there's a new track. And I think that's part of the reason what kept me in a good mood about the game. If it was like the Impossible Quiz where it was just like endless gunshots or explosions or screams every time you failed, it would have grated on me. But there's none of that. It's just there's barely any other in-game sounds. It's mostly just music playing as you be a badass and solve puzzles.
This just sounds like an ideal puzzle game. This sounds like the kind of not prawn stuff that you used to do.
The not prawn stuff or God Tower, which unfortunately has been taken down, but maybe it'll come back. But yeah, there was no real negative reinforcement other than you just have to do the level again. Other than the frustration of some of the kind of platforming elements. There's bits where there's one room called Cyclops where it's like one half of the room is light and one half of the room is dark. And as you jump up onto your thing, then this room goes off or something like that. And then it's in blackness. So you just have to guess where you're landing. You've seen it, but now you've got to feel for where you're landing. It was a real pain in the ass to get through. But yeah, so music, top notch. And I got to level 58. And this was, actually I cheated a little bit. I actually went over my 1 hour. I looked at the clock when I got to level 58 and I was like, oh, that's an hour and 15 minutes. I basically got so lost in the game that I forgot to keep the proper time. But this is where I stopped because 58 says, open today at 5 o'clock. And I was like, oh shit, here we go. It's one of these. It's a super hot wait 5 hours for the game to get to the next stage. I'm guessing you can just go around and mess with the clock, but I didn't want to get into that.
So this is where you stopped then?
Yeah, and it was well past my time on the game that I should have played. But
that's fine. Do you think you're going to go back?
Fuck yes. Yeah, absolutely.
Would you recommend this game to me?
I think you'd get a kick out of it if you could. Definitely.
There sounds like there's a few parts where I'd have to really push through. But.
There's one part called 404 error, and I think I did it wrong, but I got through it. But it was a real pain in the tits, man, to get through. It was so hard. Just boxes flying, and they're really floaty, so you have to kind of hit them, and then they stop moving. They just kind of float down, and then when they get close to the ground, you got to land. You got to wait until they're at a decent angle that you can stand on them, and then stand on it so that it kind of grounds itself, and you have to gently kind of push it across, and then you got to jump onto it and then off. Meanwhile, you're getting smashed in the face with a bunch of other boxes. I was stuck there for a long while as well. But yeah, no, I would say this is definitely a game that you would like, and it's cheap, man. It's really cheap.
Would you recommend this to others?
Definitely. Yeah, I'd say this is, if you liked what we've been talking about today with like the Impossible Quiz, if you remember that, or just any game, any one of these Flash style old school games that was like a game of mini games. But this is more a game of mini games. Yes, there's some annoying stuff in there, almost for the nostalgia of the old style ones. But there's a lot more of a serious there is a serious puzzle element to it too. That's what I really appreciated about it.
What 3 tags would you give it?
Probably just the straightforward. It is a platformer, it is a puzzle game, and it is frustrating in points. So yeah, frustrating puzzle platformer. If I had to nix one of them, because I would want to put in mystery, because there's some mystery going on to this game.
I don't even think I need to ask, but it's the format we've developed. Is this a buyer's confirmation or a buyer's remorse?
Surprise, surprise, everybody. This is look at the big smile on my face, confirmation.
Buyer's confirmation.
Yeah, do you have it?
I don't think so, but now I'll have to look for it.